Hi everyone. Okay, we're getting this ready to be live in 3, 2, 1. I guess this is it. So, I'll be chit chatting with you for about 5 minutes and then we will go on live. So, the purpose of today's live stream is to be able to transform an original model that I have developed, which is called SynthiaWave, and she was developed for different aspects of the C77 C79 short film that I'm creating. But you can have this model to basically animate her however you would want because she is for sale on Gumroad. The link, you can find it in the description of this video, and we will go over how you can pose her face with a kind of more mature, more serious look. And that is what we're going to be doing today. Welcome to Sugar Tips. This is our model. On the left, she's called SynthiaWave. Right now she has outlines, she has everything that you need her um, stylized with toon shading. But she doesn't look too menacing. She doesn't look too cyberpunky. We need to make her somewhat uh, more threatening, if we can say it so. And her backstory. Yeah, let's get to her backstory first. So she's like a how do you call this? Well, I don't know if there are some players right now, but she is connected through a game using enhanced cybernetic neural links, which is kind of a new thing here on Earth right now in our time, 2023. But in the future, it would be more feasible for players to directly insert part of their abilities, motor abilities, directly into a what's it called a neural interface. And what that basically will do in the future, um, in the science fiction, which is not so much fiction nowadays, but when I wrote the story, the idea for her backstory was that she got trapped in this game, and her comrades died, and she was the only one escaping. But unfortunately, she lost all her limbs, motricity, of course, because we're talking about this kind of hijacking game that does things to your mind if it goes bad. So that's why all of her limbs are you know um, enhanced, bionically enhanced. So let me show you what she's got under that long coat. Where is the coat? So we're going to be talking, like chit chatting again, different subject topics today, because we got a lot of things to cover that have been going on around the media. And if you know me, you know that I'll be already up on the latest news. Hey, Acer Facer Crown CH, how are you? Thank you for joining the live stream. So yeah, uh, what we usually knew as UFOs are now referred as UAPs. So that's the first thing we're going to be talking about. While I'm posting this, let me just find her jacket. Here we go. So as you can see, under her jacket, she's still got some skin there, and her uniform, because she's still at school. School is a special school that well, I cannot reveal much of the story right now because you're gonna have to find out later on when it is finished. But you can see that she's part of a program, okay, an intelligence program. We can call it that way. That's why she's got this things back here. So what we're seeing here is the real world Synthia, and it is almost like the cybernetic world version of her. Anyway, so this is a model created in Blender, and as you can see, she's got every friggin' controller that you can imagine for her hair, which by the way I still have to implement in a way that does not interrupt or that practically collides correctly with some of the things. So I'm studying two particular add-ons in Blender that can do the wiggle bone thing, but um, I'm still experimenting, and every minute of experimentation it has to be dedicated to either working for clients or working for Patreons. So this is just the only time I really got to like kind of experiment on my own at the beginning of each month, uh, 1 or 2 days. Anyway, so let's continue with this. The idea here is to post her face, her facial traits, and along the way we're going to be also managing her textures. Let me see if I can go to an image editor, and if we can pull her texture for the face so we can see what's going on. And right now this is the texture face, side red hood. By the time I did not have a name, so I just named everything side red hood. So that's diffuse. So let's look for that, and we have it around here. Here we go. So here's the map. So you can see her face is totally separate from her. Let me see if I can show you. Yeah, right here. It's totally separate from the line artwork. Whoops, this is the compositor. Shift F3, Shift F3. Here we go. This is our network, and we have a light threshold. Don't forget that I created a course where I explain why and how I construct stylized shaders. And one of the rules I set up there, it's not a industry rule, but one of the first things I usually do is to set up the light threshold, which is basically a diffuse, taking information from the light, transforming it into color by this shader to RGB, and then ramping, limiting, thresholding that light information. But you can also connect your own shadow map there. This model again is available for you to download if you wish to study it and use it for portfolio purposes. It is not a commercial license. I'm sorry, I cannot sell SynthiaWave, but you can use her for portfolio purposes. That means that you can use her for animations on your own things, or you can use her Unreal Engine model to test your environment. Show something nice, so show something pretty until you get your model done or whatever you want. Again, hi, Sleepy Mushroom, thank you for coming, and Super S Perg, thank you for coming. Besides talking about how we can pose her face, we're going to be talking about other important subjects, such as the recent news on the U.S. government disclosing, UAPs, that we have been living with aliens for quite a while now. So we're going to be touching on that and some other science things. And the implications about this new technology that they are disclosing after freaking 80 years. Although movies, books, and even some of the insiders, military people that were working with them, have come out and disclosure this kind of information by themselves. Anyways, I extended too much. Let's go to post this face really quickly, because I figured out some of you may not have that much experience posing a Rigify rig. And because of that, whenever you get this model, if you have the opportunity to go to Gumroad and then support me there by downloading the model, then you will have this different poses. And the way it works is that if you're in object mode, you need to select the rig, go to pose mode, then Alt A to unselect. You do not have to have selected anything of this model, and then you can double click this, and then it will immediately pose Synthia in that pose. Right now she's not using her jacket. Let's make her jacket visible right here. So the jacket is posed as well. You can see that her back hair is going through the hoodie. The idea there is that whenever you're not using the hoodie, you can put the hoodie back with this instant pose. The idea there is that you can come here into her collection, which is marked yellowed, and switch off the back collection for, sorry, switch the collection for the back hair off. That's a mouthful. Anyways, so that's what we get, and you can then activate the bones to continue to pose her. Alright, let's go back to pose mode. There we go. We had the jacket unselected. That's what we wanted. And you can pose her, but Mr. Schiller, this is totally mayhem. I will not be able to do animation with this if it's got a lot of bones. So how do we filter this out? Pretty easy. If you press N, then you can come here into item, and down here on the rig layer properties, you're gonna see a toggle switch for switching on and off the visibility of these bones. So in my case, I'm not going to be using the jacket bones, although you can see them here. So if you click here, sorry, then all of the jacket bones will disappear. The same thing goes for hair. If you're only going to focus on her face, let's just hide the hair for now and the back hair as well, and then you will get a much cleaner version for this. Mr. Schiller, I really like to work with her entire face and hair, but the hoodie will not allow me to do stuff there. She looks nice and all, but I need to look at the hoodie, back of the hoodie. So no problemo. Again, you can be in pose mode. Please do not select any pose. I'm sorry, any bone. So press Alt A. Sorry. Alt A, and then that will clear any selection of the bones that you have right here. And then all you have to do is just double click hoodie back, and then the hoodie just wrangles back like this. It's not perfect because this pose was not meant to have this kind of thing, but you get the idea. Besides, you should always work and pose your model for whatever the camera sees. That's one creative license that we get from working in a stylized model. I mean, you should always aim to pose your model for the camera only. It doesn't matter what is behind the camera as long as the pose looks good. And not only for stylized models, this also applies to some of the realistic 3D models or simulations like water, fractures, snow, you name it. Anyway, so we have this, but now she looks bald back here. Not to worry, we already told you that she's got this collection, which is called back hair, that you can enable whenever you have the hoodie down, and then there you go, you have her hair there. Mr. Schiller, the shadows are wrong. The shadows look really bad. What can we do? I'm glad you have a keen eye. Let's switch to full shaded view, and from here we need to find out who the light culprit is. Where's the main light for this? Because as you can see right now, her back hair has this constant value, while her front hair is receiving a shadow. Can I see your AI reference? You mean this one? Sure, no problem. As a matter of fact, thank you for that question, because that's an important question. References. Let me just quickly show you this, and thank you for coming again into the stream. I hope that more people take a look at this, because as I mentioned before, we're just chit-chatting and taking it easy from here, not to be stressed. But the idea here is to have a kind of reference for the hair. This face was generated through the AI model that I'm using the prompt word smug face, as you can see on the thumbnail. If you use smug face, you're going to get this expression from your character, and that's important because we want to present her as a mature woman. I was getting a lot of girly designs. You're going to see them forward in this showcase, but this is the woman design for her face that I was looking around for in different models. Let me see if I can show you. I even generated an entire sheet. I plotted I plot the XYZ for this. You can see the name of them. Well, not actually, you can see it, but like this one, it's called anything version 4.5. And that's what generated this, which I really like. And this is the prompt, which, by the way, this was given by Lefebvre, and he is a very experienced AI developer for different kind of model styles, and he has been using Stable Diffusion plus other AI generators for a long time, and he coaches me actually back and forth because I'm giving him feedback about what an actual anime should look like, while he's like embellishing it with illustration styles, and it's kind of an interesting mix what we're getting. Um, anyway, so he told me, bracket this prompt woman, vertical division like this with the symbol. I think it's well, I guess you know this, and then put one girl semicolon 0.10. And he explained, and this is important by the way, he explained that whenever you use this kind of things, you're basically mixing two prompts into getting early, into getting at the middle of the generation for this prompt, and into getting late into that prompt. And also, I put just the word woman and mature for comparison. As you can see, in this model at least, it gets you the same result. Either if you use mature or if you use the word woman, it's going to get you this kind of face. But if you mix it with girl, you kind of get the idea, that it's mixing from a young girl plus an older woman. So I use this model and some other models. I'm sorry I cannot, like show you all this entire thing. It took like um, some 20 minutes to generate. But here are our winners. So from all of this looks too childish. This looks too Moe. Look at that Moe antenna. That's how it's called. This doesn't look like a woman, at least not a nice one. But this one does meet all of the requirements. It looks like an anime girl, and she has her messy hair as SynthiaWave should have. And this was more a refined girly version, kind of a mixed with an older woman. But everything is centered around the eyes. As you can see, these eyes are too cute. Now, whenever you're creating characters, every trait that you use for their face talks how the character personality is formed. So this one is the most appropriate for me. Like this truly represents what a keen, sharp cyber pilot would react or look like. So back to generating her faces. I try different combinations, different seeds right now with the word mature and woman. So this is the results. These were the results that I was getting. Now please notice two things. Number one, her hair. Obviously, if you're animating for anime, doing 2D animation is what I mean, you would not want to have too many details, but you will still have to want as much details as you need to ensure that people read through the character's personality. And therefore, the highlights on her hair are important. This is called a halo highlight. Okay? And it's different whenever you get this kind of highlights, which are little like dots, if we can call them that way, long dots, which kind of give the personality a more cute look. See, it does make a difference when you have this kind of semi halo plus longer line dots or shorter dots, shorter highlights, or more highlighty, like this is very shiny. But in anime, at least for what we're seeing on 2023, you would not want to do this so much. So maybe this was a very, you know, common process to do on the 90s anime. That's why we love 90s anime, because it has so much detail. But right now, this is what we have. So here we have another example. Let me go through this really fast. These were other references, just trying to get her personality out of the AI. Like this one totally nails it. This is what I was envisioning in my mind when I created Synthia for the first time. As you can see, the eyes are very lost. We don't know if this is a human or not, but this one portrays her very good. with the prosthetic limbs, and this one also portrays how Synthia would look. So yeah, we have all of this, and you can see all of this pretty quickly. So most likely this is the kind of version I really wanted to nail at first, but it is just too bad that I recently came to understand how to use prompt words like mature and woman, so I could get a mature face. So but here's a big but. We're going to try to pose Synthia, and first of all, let's return, or rather give the sun um, its visibility again. So here is the sun. Where is it? Right here. Oh, let me go out to object mode and select the sun so we can orient it to her face. And we want her face to be fully lit like this. So I'm going to be rotating this sun. By the way, on Blender 3.6, the cascading shadow parameters changed. So now you can find them in the light, in this case the sun, under shadow. So if I check this, I'm going to have individual controls specifically for this light in regards of the shadow cascading map. You can see it right here. I've explained what is a shadow cascading map on previous videos in my channel, so you can see it. And let's try to, pull something that looks good. Okay, so let's use that for now. So I'm not going to render. I just want to show you how to use the controls for posing her face while we talk about UAPs and what it means for the USA to disclosure alien technology. Not much so alien technology. I'm going to tell you about some things that may rage you, but hey man, I don't make the rules. I'm just following, the trails. So okay, first of all, let's okay, I think that pose kind of work. Yeah, let's just work in this pose. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the chat. I'm going to be refreshing this because last time I tried to refresh this chat and there were a lot of people talking, but I wasn't able to read the actual chat. So I don't know why is that. So I hope if you're seeing this live, please let me know if you are watching this live. Just use an icon or something. Okay, so first of all, eyes. These eyes are too big, and whenever I create my... Thank you for your reply, Radical Neko, and welcome to the chat. So whenever I'm rigging a character, I always try to, use all of the controls that Rigify has. One of those controllers has eye size control. I have not been able to figure it out completely from this view. Like, this is called the eye visor for the character. Wherever you move this thing, her eyes are going to move as well. But what we want to do right now is to decrease this character's size. So there is a control back here. I don't know if you can see it selected now. But if I scale that one is going to scale the entire eye. This is very useful for what we're trying to accomplish right now. Because the first thing that we see right here is that her eyes are too big. They look too childish compared to this, which are smaller, keen, sharper eyes for a womanly look. So that's what the first thing that we're going to do. Second thing that we're going to do is try to adjust this eyebrow to not be so thick as this one right here. And we also, I think it's best if we do it right now, we need to also just switch off the solidify, which give us the outline for her face. Now, Mr. Schiller, why don't you ever model the entire face or the head actually, as all of the other characters? Why do you always only do the mask? Well, it's to optimize resources. This is a necessary means, at least for me, because I can come back to this mask whenever I want and continue to add, for example, shape keys without worrying if I am having a what's the name for this? A symmetrical, that's the name, the symmetrical shape on either part of her body, because her body is not symmetrical. and you may run into that problem sooner or later in your career. You're gonna find that she has, for example, this kind of thing on this leg and this other kind of patch over this leg. So as soon as you join this entire body with the face, it's not gonna be symmetrical. And no matter what you do, if you work on your sculpt modes or your sculpt faces, expressions, they're not gonna reach you out on the other side whenever you mirror them, and that's a problem. That's why I only prefer to work with the masks. It is called a mask, but basically this is the face in this way. And also it allows you for easy toggling or manipulation of the normals, which is important. So anyways, let's go back to selecting this, go back to pose mode, and in pose mode we're going to try to go into medium point, and let's see if normal works. No, normal doesn't work. Let's go to global. I think with global we can do this. Yeah. I'm going to switch to scale, and the first thing I'm going to be doing is activating this other symmetry toggle for the bone poses. So whatever I do to this bone, the other bone will follow as well. Okay, so that looks pretty cool. Now let's rotate it just a little bit. Now you can see, or maybe you can't, but let me get closer. You can see that there's always a white circle around the transformation for rotating any object. What the white circle does is that you can change or manipulate the transformations on the viewport. Like if I go down here and then I roll on the white circle, obviously the eye is going to roll in a different position than if it was rolled in this way. It only rotates in 2D. Okay, so up or down, that's all. So you have to position the camera to the position where you want to roll it, and then roll in the white circle, because that is rotate in visual pose or visual position. That's what I mean. So what we want to do here is to rotate it just a tad. I think it is, well, let me see if I can write in this one. Yeah. If we have a 90-degree angle like this, this would be minus, I don't know, minus 5. Probably we can do that. Someone proposed that we should be able to manipulate this thing, the white thing, from here. And I agree, we should. We should be able to type -5, enter, and then this will be rolling on this way. But anyways, okay, we have the first part, and sure. Now the second part is that her eyes look too big. So let's scale them. Press S, press Shift, and then scale them a little bit. Alright, that looks good. Now, scaling again, and let's just make this a tad, just a tad smaller. Yeah. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Mr. Schiller, I cannot see whatever thing you're doing. Can you please put a window, 3D window? Sure, why not? Let's put a 3D windows here without this thing. Local, no transformations, no overlays, fully render, and then just pose her right there, so we can see what we're doing. Press N and the view. It's 80 millimeters, so let's maybe 60. No, that's too much. 110. Okay, that's more like it. Let's continue. So we're back in pose mode again. I'm using the white circle to rotate visually from the angle of the camera. That's what I want. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to finally address her expression. Let's switch everything else off. Again, don't forget that this lives under properties whenever you're in the Rigify pose mode. So we have face primary, and then the main controls here. What are the main controls? As you can see, we have the eye size, the visor, what it's called right here, the nose, the teeth. Those are the teeth controllers, and everything has been rigged. And also the shape of the face. You can manipulate that over here. Sorry, that's for the ears position. So we want to manipulate the primary controls of the face, which are all of these red controls that you see right here. What we want to do? We want to first of all close her mouth. It's not looking good for her. RX, press shift and then roll up. Let's try to close her mouth slowly. Maybe like this. I'm just going to press G now. Manually position her jaw. I don't want to waste too much time. Um, okay, that kind of looks good. And I think we're done. Yeah. Now the size specifically for these eyes could be managed through a blend shape. I could create blend shapes for the eye and then scale it and it will be good. But for now, um, I think I'll pass because otherwise this live stream will take more time than expected. But I think you're getting the idea on how you can manipulate your face. Let's go back to pose mode and press N. Activate the face secondary controllers and switch off the primary ones because now, or actually let me just fix this one move right here. Again, we're doing this in a the opposite side of the controls simultaneously, symmetrically. That's the word. Gosh, I seem to keep forgetting that word today. Okay, so now we have a closer eye like this one. Let me just G, Y, then bring this just a tad down, just a tad down. That's good. But the eyes are still big, and I have no way to control them at the moment. Um, Again, I could, easily scale them by using a blend shape for each, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to make this longer. Let's talk about this cheekbone. Let's G. Let's drive it just a tad inside. Good. And this other red controller which controls this side of the face, so let's also make it like this. And we need to make a little bit sharper because her womanly traits, okay, you can see now it's shaping there. Her woman face traits are very sharp. We're gonna see a lot of the things coming out when we activate the outlines, but for now it's just like this. The eyebrows, let's go here. So now I'm going to be moving this, whoops, not this one, the red one. I'm going to be moving this just a tad and rotating it as well so that we can deform just a little bit like such and bringing them over here. Okay, that's enough. Good. And I guess we're not gonna make this unless we make a sharper pupil. Look how much area this is using against this. So let's pose her eyes. So now for this, I'm going to be selecting this and then coming over here, press G, and from this view, I will be able to pose her eyes. So she's totally looking at us. Look at that. Look at that smug face. Gosh. She's sassy. She thinks she's a know-it-all. Yeah, she might probably know something about the aliens on the government working with secret forces and stuff. Okay, so I think that's... Oh, one more thing. I'm going to be selecting her mouth. Again, I'm going to use the white roll, which is visual roll, and moving... Whoops, that's too much. Moving her like this. And then, and this is the interesting part, I'm going to be rotating it on the RZ axis, G to grab it, and I don't know, maybe that's not the right word, but I want to twist it as much as I can so that she can look as if she had the smile on the right side. Look at that, look at that, look at it. It's working right there. Let me show you with the wireframe. Yeah. So you can see that definitely helps to have this kind of rigging for her. Now here's the important part. Here's where you begin to, actually deform the face. Look the way she's look at the way she's smiling, because in anime her prominent smile will be on this side. Okay, will be on this side. Not so much so on this side, so we can move just a little bit to get this bumpy cheek, because right now she doesn't have a bumpy cheek. Look at that. But we can do that if we select this one and then move it just to that. Now I'm going to be moving it to this side, or this side if I'm on this view, so that you can see how it bunks, it bloats the face. That's exactly what we want. Mr. Schiller, she's looking like an alien, an actual alien. Yeah, don't worry about that. We're going to apply the subdivision um, surface modifier, and she's all right. Okay, so what else can we do for this smug face? Okay, I think now that we are not using symmetry, we can just raise her eyebrows just a tad. Gosh, she's smugging us. And lower this probably right there. Her eyebrows are too thick. This is something that I need to fix on the textures. I'm going to have to draw this kind of color plus outline. But we have her right there. Now let's reactivate the outliner modifier, the solidifier modifier. There we have it. And open her mouth just a little bit. And with that, we're gonna call this done, because we still have to take some time and talk about what the aliens technology in the US government represents for us as citizens. I hope this video doesn't get taken down, because I'm going to tell you two things. Number one, we're finally, gosh, finally, I have been waiting for this like for 30 some years. We're going to finally have biometry enhancements, and we're gonna finally work with bionics, human bionics. Yes, I know that the travel, the odyssey to get to this point was horrible. um, I don't approve it, but the people that have been doing this for quite some years already know how to implant things on us that can, work with electronics, if we could call it that way, with technology. And part of those new branches of science that are going to be publicly available from 7 years from now. I'm not talking about, I'm not a, what's it called this? How do you call this person? I'm not a prophet. I mean, this is just logical follow up of the news. This is just logical follow up of everything that they have been publishing. So 7 years from now, if the world doesn't end, and if God has not returned, we're going to be branching off to new sciences, new human development science. Um, so indeed, we're going to get prostheses, probably like SynthiaWave, and even much better prototypes than this, where we can have bionic enhancements. But again, that's something that no one is talking about. And the second issue I wanted to talk about, what represents for the U.S. citizen that we get alien technology disclosure. I think if you have been following the news, you already know that there are a lot of militaries, soldiers, pilots that have come up with their own testimony under oath, and they have seen these non-human piloted spaceships. And I have to be very careful here, because I used to watch strange lights flying over the coast on the region where I live, where there are military bases. what those kind of weird lights were doing up there, flying around at incredible speeds, uh, you know, tilting lights, doing strange maneuvers in the dark sky, is up for another video. But what you need to know is that some of these UAP things are constructed by humans, and some others are not. And the ones that are not, they use a different kind of propulsion, something that as humans, we cannot. If you get on board, you may be safe, but if you be around, you cannot really understand the concept that they have to deliberately thin matter. Okay, that's the best way I can put it. They thin matter so that the entire pressure around them pushes them away, forward, back, whatever they want to go. Now, for the outsider visual person that is watching this UAP, it will appear that they, do some strange maneuvers. But for the inside person inside this UAP, it's just a matter of taking coordinates, and then that device, that machine, that object will just kind of, I don't want to say it that way, teleport, because it's not really teleporting. Our atmosphere does not support that kind of process, if we can call it that way. And in regards to that, I want to close this section by saying that I try to use ChatGPT 3 and 4 to ask for specific crucial questions about very developed science. My name is Pierre Schiller, and I don't just pick this name out of a random thing. I wrote a sci-fi novel back in the 90s, and everything I wrote back there, it's becoming real now in 2023. Therefore, I have practically seen the past of time and how these things have been openly published to the public years later after I wrote them. So the next thing, and this is the main thing about this mainstream today I wanted to talk about. Please get it out of your heads, because we're not going to get free energy. We're not going to get alien technology working in our cars or in our houses. Get it out of your heads. You're not going to get that. We're not going to get that. What we're going to get right now, it's a very delicate process. It's a very sensitive process on how to manage this public disclosure, because bad people, and let me just get it out that way, bad people are going to try to get this technology as well. Not only the good ones, like the military, but the bad people as well. And that represents a real threat. That is why I think not 100% of our reports could be traced back to an alien life form, which, by the way, that's another entire video I have to tell you about. But for now, let's just say that some of those aliens are not really aliens. They are from planet Earth. But yeah, if they get technology into bad hands, into the wrong hands, that could catapult us into a different, literally, dimension. I don't want to talk about that too much, because my channel right now is just about 3D modeling and stuff. But you will ask, Mr. Schiller, how can we trust the information that you're giving us? Is it verified? Well, all I can tell you is that you can follow the rabbit hole by searching on TikTok, which is mainly where the U.S. Congress hearings have been happening without any censorship. That's great. I don't know if you're going to find this information on YouTube, because that's centralized and stuff. And TikTok has been doing its thing, mainly to help people understand where are we transitioning to. And just like I mentioned to the COVID video, and you can go back to my videos and check out the COVID video I did 2 years ago. I tell you right now, I really hope that the U.S. Congress does the right thing with the right people trying to manage this disclosure thing. If you thought that the dark market and the mafia had some power armament, some weapons, that could potentially endanger humanity, well, um, I'm only going to say that if you have seen Pacific Rim, you know the implications of having alien technology in the wrong hands. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Hopefully, we will get more news about this. There have been going some horrific stuff behind all of this, not related to UAPs or aliens. Um, we're living in trouble sometimes, so I hope you take care. This is nothing to be mocked at, and the only thing I'm going to say is that looking at the bright side, we're going to get fascinating new developments for human sciences if this goes the right way. Not only in transportation, you can even have, robots, bionics like SynthiaWave right here. And I hope that you all, do your own diligences and take everything I've said with a grain of salt, and do your own investigation. Hi, Intelligentsia Futura. Thank you for joining the stream. Okay, so that has been all for now. Sorry, this 10-minute talk about the UAP and aliens technology had got us going on. But on the bright side, as I mentioned before, what you can expect in the next 7 years, if the world has an end and if God has not returned, is that human technologies and human advancing in medicines are going to be fantastic, are going to be out of the roof, literally. We're going to be able to heal a lot of things physically impossible in the years before. Uh, and most likely, the next big thing for human science development, sorry, is going to be enhancing human bionics. Okay, what you see in Westworld, but in real life, and now with real science applied. I'm pretty confident of that, and let's just hope that in this side of the reality universe, we don't get blown up by some other, you know, outer space threat. So thank you very much. I'm sorry if I just spoke too many things out of context. But again, please, deliberately do your due diligences in investigating everything I've said. Okay, so just be aware that this rabbit hole goes very deep. All right, so if you got any more questions, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for joining our stream, and you can get SynthiaWave, as you've seen her right here, in the Gumroad store. You can support me there. Click on the link in the description of this video, and then you can find her. And any questions about her, please let me know in the comment section down below. All right, Sarp Summer, thank you for joining, and I hope to see you